I didn't realize how much you guys were going to enjoy the story that I told you about my Aunt Grace last night. I was so excited to read your comments that I decided I want to continue the story tonight, but I'm going to show you pictures, all right? So let me start by screen recording. Welcome to Bear Pantry Talk. This is the sister channel to the Bear Pantry Show. This is where you're going to find honest reviews, exciting unboxings, do-it-yourself projects, and engaging commentary. Yes, screen recording. Okay, so the chair is this way tonight because Joshua was trying to hook up a printer to the computer. It didn't work. We're going to need to buy a new printer tomorrow. I hope that Jory doesn't come home right now and need to pass. So let's start at the beginning. So my mom's grandfather on her mother's side, his name was Mr. Edward Lord. He was a dark-skinned man, and he was married twice. His first wife was this beautiful lady right here. Her name was Adriana. She had 5 kids with him, 4 boys and a girl. And then she passed away in childbirth with the last boy. And then Mr. Lord remarried Amy Bell Page. My mom always said Page, P-A-I-G-E. But when she took out her birth certificate, it was Page, P-A-C-H-E. So Amy Bell Page. And he had 4 children with her, 2 boys and 2 girls. My grandmother was one and Aunt Grace was the other one. All right. So this is Adriana right here. This is one of Adriana's 5 children. This boy right here named Derek. He left Belize at age 16 and he traveled by boat to England where he lived. I met a cousin through doing Ancestry DNA, and she said that he just worked on boats all his life. And he lived to be like in his late 50s. He had a wife that lived to be in her late 50s. I think they were married like 18 years. And they both died like together. I don't know if flu, whatever. I don't know what killed them. And they didn't have any kids as far as we know. And we don't know if he had any kids outside of the marriage. So that's all we know about him. We never heard from him again. This boy right here, right? So then they had 3 more boys, Eldridge, Ned, and John. John was the baby. And then I don't know where my Aunt Eileen right here. Her name is Eileen, A-I-L-E-E-N. I don't know where she fell into the lineup. I'm thinking it's Derek, then Eldridge, and Eileen, then Ned, then John. I think that's how it worked. This baby right here on the grandmother's lap is my Aunt Eileen. She lived to be 98 years old. See this baby right here? All right, that's the grandmother. This man is from Cardiff, Wales. If you guys watch my ancestry video, you may have heard me tell this story over and over again. This lady was not a family member. She just happened to get in the picture. This is one of the man's son. He had more sons. And this boy here lived to be 105 years old and died like in the 1980s, okay? My Aunt Eileen lived to be 98 and died December the 24th, 2004. So let me show you Eileen as she grew. This is, oh, look, stunning. I like the features. Look at the lips. Check it out. See, she had these beautiful wavy hair. When she got older and got dementia, and she was like not in her right mind on certain days, her hair would be out because she always had it back like that. She would lose her hair out. She would look like a vixen, and she would like plan to like really beat up Grace. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. So let's go back into these pictures to see if we can find more stuff. All right, so I don't know if I have a picture here of my grandmother, but let's go into, where's this picture right here? Let's see what this picture is. Oh, see, Mommy wrote up on this picture, okay? So let's take, this picture was taken in Orange Walk. This is Derek, the grandson of John Young, son of Adriana. And then this is Adriana. And the grandmother was named Elizabeth. This is Aunt Eileen at 5 years old. She looks small for 5, don't you think? See, and these are the missing sons, Thomas, Alzier, and George. Okay? So now we're going to come back to this lady here, but give me a second. Let's close this back out. I'm trying to find this wedding picture right here. This is a picture of my mom's wedding. This is my mom. This is my dad. These are my mom's uncles. So these 2 right here are from Adriana, and this one right here is from Amy Bell, the second wife, my grandmother's mom. So this is Uncle John, who was the baby the last baby that Adriana had before she passed away in childbirth. This is Uncle Ned. He was suave. Look at him, handsome. Look at the eyes. And then this is Uncle Godwin, my grandmother's brother. He might have been the younger. No, Uncle Roy was the younger boy. So then he died in his 40s. We think it's from some form of cancer. This is my Aunt Jenny. This is my Uncle Leslie. He passed away in 2002 on the 4th of July. He was in the American Army. This is my Uncle Roger right here. Okay, you guys see it? So over here is my mom's brother Michael. This is my grandmother. This is my Aunt Lita, and I don't know who stands behind her. My grandpa was not in the picture because he did not approve of my father, with good reason. Anyways, let's get back into Amy Bell. Let me show you a picture of Amy Bell. Ooh, it's a bad picture, guys. Let's see if we can make it bigger. That's Amy Bell. We might find a cleaner one. Hold on. So, this is my grandmother's brother Roy. Look at them lips. Dang. And then, oh, I think Jory came. God, this sucks. Hold on. Let's open this. This is my mom. Her these are her two older brothers. David, that's not his real name. They used to call these kids all type of name that's not their real name. His name is, my grandpa was Maurice Lewis. His name is Maurice Edward. He's named after his dad and his grandpa. This is Uncle Norman. This is my mom, Michael, Uncle Roger, Uncle Leslie. Uncle Leslie really was not in this picture. My sister photoshopped him in this picture because he came to America a long time ago. All right, I'm gonna pause so Jory can pass, okay? Hold on. Can you pass, baby?
Yeah, it's all right.
No, no problem. I think it's push the chair and go this way. Alrighty. We were trying to put a printer on here, but it didn't work. I gotta move everything back. This is Uncle Les when he was in the army. Ooh, handsome, huh, guys? Lord have mercy. I come from out of some beautiful stock over here. So then Aunt Grace, I showed you her last night, right? Kind of favor mommy. And so this is my mom's older brother, David, as he looks now. This is Les before he passed. Les kind of look Arab. This is the better picture of Aunt Grace right here. You guys are seeing this, right? Pretty pictures. So I want to show you guys something. Look at this picture of my Uncle Norman, right? Doesn't he kind of favor the grandmother? Look at the grandmother. This grandmother right here. Doesn't he kind of favor her? Darn. Do you guys see that? Am I the only one that's seeing that? So, there's a little scandal in the family, but not quite. I don't want that one. I want the clean one that doesn't have all the writings on it. There's a little scandal in the family, but not. Let me tell you. So, Adriana and, what's her name? Let me look up her name. Adele. Adriana and Adele are sisters from the same mother and father, right? Mother and father. So Adriana had 5 children with Mr. Lord, right? And then Mr. Lord had my grandmother with a second wife. Well, this lady, Adele, got married to a guy named Guadalupe Gomez and had my grandpa Maurice. My grandpa Maurice is cousins with Adriana's 5 children, right? But he's not related to these children's half siblings, which is the crew my grandmother came from. So he came and he married my grandmother. And for the longest time as a kid, we could not understand how we were not related but not related, right? So that's the little so-called scandal that they were saying. Oh, your grandma, your grandpa and your Aunt Eileen are first cousins, but he's not related to your grandma. It's like, how come? Because there were 2 different wives. It's as simple as that. But as a kid, you don't understand all of that, right? This is Aunt Tylene again right here. Look at Joe looking all buff. This is our first little place that we rented in LA. She came to visit in the 1980s, and that's when she gave me all the recipes. The Creole bun, the Creole bread, the Johnny cake. You know, I've been making that cookbook forever. I used to have these things on an index card, right? So, yeah, my old people fell in love with Joe real hard. So, let me see if I could go in here and see any other pictures. No, these are just me. Let's see. Look at me at age 15. Look at me and my little ghetto blaster. You remember that? Ghetto blaster? Oh my God. And Jada, when she was first born, and she has a birthday coming 26 years ago. Look how much Jory loves her. Joshua's a narcissist. He's looking at the camera. Jory looking at the baby. Okay, let's go back out here, guys. Let's just see if we missed anything. No, it's the same thing that I just opened, didn't I? So Ancestry. Ooh, look how much here. Okay, so let's see. This is Adele. Does she kind of favor Jada? She's got something for Jada. So that's my mom's grandmother on her dad's side. Okay. And then this is Amy Bell when she got older. Let's see if we can make it bigger. See? Amy Bell, she kind of favors my grandmother. Did I find any with my grandmother? This is Uncle Godwin when he was younger. That's an oil painting or something like that, though. I don't know if I found any with my grandmother, except the young one when she was at my mom's wedding. Oh, this is an older one right here. See? My grandmother kind of favors the one named Godwin. The oil painting. Let's see the oil painting. They kind of favor, look, see? Same kind of mouth and nose. They probably favor their mother. And this is Adriana again right here. I just kind of took the headshots off. So let's see what else we have here. Did we have a wedding here? Who's this wedding? That's my Aunt Lita. My Aunt Lita has a lot of pictures at her house, so that's when I go, I get all the pictures. So this is Grandpa, my mom's dad. I don't know who that baby is that he's holding. Okay, so let's see right here. Okay, these, don't worry about who these people are. These are all confusing. So, well, I can show you. This is my grandmother, my mom's mom. This is my dad's dad, and this is Joe's mom's dad. And then this is Joe's dad, okay? And Jory. So I can tell you who those people are. So let me show you my Aunt Lita with my mom back in the day. What's that? Meat pies? Yeah. It was for Jada, but she's not eating it, so I would take it. She's not going to be mad. Take it. This is my mother, and this is my Aunt Lita. Look how they look so much alike. My Aunt Lita has changed a lot right now because of diabetes. Diabetes is, man, it changes even your looks. So this, let me see who this is. This is my mom's cousin, Ned. Ned came from Uncle Eldridge from the older batch, okay? See all these handsome people and pretty people in here? Dang. Guess I didn't realize. Oh, that's wrong. Okay. So, no, let me tell you a little bit more about Aunt Grace before we end this one tonight. This is December the 23rd, Vlogmas Day 23. So, Aunt Grace was the baby out of the entire batch, right? So, the four that came from Amy Bell Page, which is Aunt Grace, my grandmother, Uncle Godwin, and Uncle Roy, they all got together and said that they were not going to marry until their mother died. My grandmother didn't fall for that crap, so she got married, and she had 10 kids with my grandpa, and I think that lady died when I was 2, so 1968, so Aunt Grace and them were over there waiting like a bunch of fools, and I guess she had one suitor, a nice man. They used to call them suitors back in the day, and he couldn't wait on that. He couldn't wait for that lady to die, so he bounced, and so she never got married, you know. So she lived with my grandma. Aunt Eileen moved away and got married, and then her first and only pregnancy was a stillbirth at 9 months, and so she split up with her husband. I think there were other factors. What's up, George?
The oven's on, and there's nothing in.
I just left it on because it was keeping the house warm.
Okay.
But we're good.
Can I turn it off?
Yeah, you could turn it off. Let me go ahead. Let me show you one more thing. This is Jory and my younger brother. And this is my sister, me, my uncle Norman, and my older brother. I was dressed in a V outfit, V from the 1980s. And this is me and Joe. I was 23 right here. I know I had turned 22. Joe threw me a party, and he cooked all the food too. These are some nice older pictures to look at, right? So this is my Uncle Roger right here. So in any case, let me stop the screen recording because it pulls a lot of power from the computer. One more thing. My grandmother, my mom, my Uncle Norman, and my Uncle David. All right? So Aunt Grace moved back home and lived with my grandmother and her husband and all the kids. Aunt Eileen moved back home also. And then my grandpa worked in another district. So he was not home from Monday to Friday anyways. He only came for Saturday and Sunday. So that's why it was okay for, all these people to be living together. So Aunt Grace always worked outside of the home. And like I told you, when we were growing up, she was kind of strict and crotchety. And the children, the bad children in the street, when they were out there doing bad stuff in the street, if they saw her coming, they straightened up. They told the line. They would cross the street. Oh, Lord, that lady coming, Miss Lord coming. She gonna tell our mother on us. She gonna tell our grandmother. She didn't play, all right? So then when she was helping my grandmother raise my grandmother's kids, which includes my mom, she did the pinch ear thing. That was the thing. By the time we came along, I had a really good relationship with her because I never peed the bed. Some of the other cousins and siblings and stuff peed the bed. And so whenever the house was too full at Christmas time and stuff, because the house only had 4 bedroom, right? So it was my grandma and grandpa. If he wasn't there, I slept with my grandma. But then in the other room, there was a bed and a bunk bed. And it was my older brother, my sister, me. And so when it was too full, I would go in on Grace's bed with her and sleep with her because I didn't pee the bed. And she would be so strict about that. She would say, "You better not pee my bed," that I would panic that I was so afraid that I was going to pee the bed. And I never peed the bed. So anyways, in her room, she would have those little nougats, right? Those British candies or whatever with the thin wafer wrapped around it that comes in a little blue tin. And if I waited long enough and drooled long enough, she would give me one little nougat, right? So my cousin Poppy, his name was Norman Jr., but they call him Poppy because that's a thing for Junior. He would go in there and steal all the stuff out the tin and then blame it on us, okay? So, but anyways, it was a privilege to go in her room. She had a little pretty vanity and stuff like that. She wore a red uniform all her life for Brody's, and she always looked well put together and never went out into the street without clothes iron, stuff like that. And I told you guys already where she worked in the lingerie department of all places. Why did they put her in there, right? And she would be so pleasant to these customers. And when she came home, she was just like grumpy. She had this rule where it's like when she comes home on the shortened days on Wednesday, because Wednesdays was always her shortened day, but then during the holiday season, she would have to go back to work in the evening. But when it's not the holiday season, she would come home early on Wednesday and just stay home. So that would confuse us as kids because we're like, is she going back? Is she staying? What is the deal? Wednesday was like a bad day for us because Aunt Grace was coming home and she would tap that booty, right? No, I don't think she ever beat us, but she was strict. So she would sweep and mop the entire house. And she would have a rule. If you're inside, you better stay inside. And if you're going to stay inside, you can't walk on her, nicely mopped floor. So you better get into bed with a book. She didn't care what the book was. It could be a comic book, but you better get into bed with a book. If not, go outside. And if you go outside, you're not going to be able to come back in until those floors dry. So I always needed to pee. Ever since I was a little kid, I need to pee every 2 hours. So my behind stayed inside. The rest of the bad kids, my brother and cousins and them, they went outside. I went in bed with my grandma and we read together. She read a lot of love stories, novels and stuff like that. And I'd be reading Mr. Pink Whistle, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys. And I became an avid reader that way, with my grandma because I stayed in the bed because at least I could use the bathroom if I stayed in a darn house. So she had a lot of different rules. She would get up early in the morning and she would make oatmeal for us. And ever since then, I loved oatmeal, but I always got sick when I ate oatmeal and I never knew why. I think it's all my stomach issues. My mom says I was born with stomach issues. She said I really threw up a lot as a baby. So in any case, she would make custard for us. So when I make custard, I always think of her and she would just leave that for us and go to work. And she was my older brother's godmother and she really looked out for him. My older brother had a fall when he was 15 years old. He thought he was Superman, and so he was trying to jump off of St. Ignatius school building onto the outhouse. And he fell and he hooked up on the outhouse, and he dislocated his shoulder and shattered over here. Luckily, there was a doctor visiting from America that could take care of my brother, and the guy that did the anointing, what do they call it, like the massage and stuff, he put that back in place, Mr. Wallen. If the Belizeans are listening, you guys know all these names. And then they had to do surgery with pins and all type of stuff here for my brother. And my Aunt Grace would leave her job. She would not come home for lunch. She would leave her job at lunch and go over to the hospital. I don't even know if she ate lunch. And she would take the pet milk, you know, which is the evaporated milk, in the can cold, the small one, to my brother because that's what he enjoyed. And she would just take stuff for him to eat in the hospital when he was in the hospital, and she never came home. And so we're like, where is she? Why is she not coming home? And so there was a guy that lived in my grandmother's backyard. He rented from my grandmother. And he was into construction, so he was working on the hospital building. So when my brother first went into the hospital for the surgery, we didn't have any updates. So he would come home for lunch and he would give us the updates from Aunt Grace, you know, about what's going on with my brother. She really took care of my brother because my mom and dad lived in America at the time in San Francisco. And so my brother had nobody else to go look in on him. And she took charge. She was his godmother and took charge. She had a really, really giving heart. Every Christmas, she didn't make a lot of money, but every Christmas, everybody got a gift, even if it was a pair of socks. And I'm telling you, we learned to look forward to those pair of socks. She gave me a thing one time. Joe, can I bug you to look on this coffee table to see if that little thing is over there, that little yellow thing that I showed you? That little art thing. Remember I showed you that little yellow thing, that wooden thing with the spikes in it? Right here on this table. On the end table with the lamp. Do you see it? A yellow thing with the spikes in it.
Yes.
Yeah. This was like the best gift that I could remember she gave me when I was growing up, besides underwear and socks and bra and stuff like that. She gave me a thing that looked like this. My mom had this thing in her sewing stuff, so I guess, I don't know where she got it from. Two of the spikes are missing if you see it right there. But what this is, you put wool inside, right, the yarn, and then you kind of braid it or plait it a certain type of way. It had a little manual that came with it that showed you different designs. And then the thing would come through here like a 3D thing on the bottom, and you just get a long strip of that thing, and it was like hair ribbons that we'd make for her hair because I've always had long hair. And she bought that for me because she just thought that I could do well with it, and I did. I made a lot of beautiful things from it. I don't know where this thing came from, but it just took me back. It took me back. So yeah, Aunt Grace was into church, into God. She owned 2 parrots. One died in Hurricane Hattie in 1961, and the other one survived and died like a few months before she did. Like the parrot knew. All right, the parrot's name was Polly. The parrot could sing, and she just loved her parrot. Entire life just loved her parrot, and all of us had to like take care of the parrot, like feed it, stuff like that. The parrot loved coconut, little chips of coconut. So then her older sister, my Aunt Eileen, she was the chief cook and bottle washer in the house. She cooked all the meals. Aunt Grace could cook too, but Aunt Grace only cooked by recipes. And she was the kind that had everything in a different little bowl, kind of like the way I cook. I think I developed that from her. And she liked fancy recipes with fancy ingredients, with cardamom and stuff like that. Aunt Eileen liked the more down-to-earth things, and she could season the meat real good like Joe, and, you know, do breads and buns, and she was like in there, you know, with the down-to-earth stuff. Aunt Eileen could break a gun down, you know, a shotgun, put it back together. She could drive a boat. She couldn't drive a car, because back in them days, women were not supposed to drive cars in Belize, so she couldn't drive a car, but she could drive a boat. So my grandmother was the intellectual. She was smart as a whip. She knew shorthand, she knew Spanish, she knew English, she knew math, she was well read, she had a beautiful singing voice. That's where I got it from, and that's where Jada got it from. And so together, like my godmother keeps telling me, you came out of royalty. She just keeps telling me that. Don't let nobody put you down. You came out of royalty. So that's like a little bit of the family background. I hope that you guys enjoyed it tonight. If you want to know more, you know, tell me, and then we could maybe continue it on into Christmas Eve, because this is the 23rd of December. I got to go make my frosting to frost the chocolate cake. Nobody can cut that cake till Christmas. And I'm going to boil my milk. I think I'm going to leave it out so Joe could put it on for me tomorrow morning to boil the milk. So I'm going to do lactose-free milk. I did lactose-free milk in the cake. So, did you guys enjoy the story that I'm telling here? I love telling the ancestral stories because my mom used to share the story with all of us, but a lot of the family members did not want to listen to it. But I listened all the time when she shared it because she always told me that after she's gone, I'm going to be the one that has to keep the family records and tell the story. So I know all the birthdays, and have all those things written down because like my Uncle Roger, he's kind of like the family historian to a degree too, because he knows a lot of the birthdays, but he knows the birthdays upwards, like his siblings, and then above he doesn't know below. You know what I mean? So he doesn't quite remember. Maybe he knows my birthday, but he doesn't quite remember a lot of the other people's birthday. But I'm the one that remember like his, even Roger's children's birthday and stuff like that. So I got to write all these things down to pass it on to Jada, you know, because we don't want these things to get lost. We want, you know, people several generations beneath us in the future to know about us, you know, and to know about these ancestors. So my mom had one sister that passed away when she was 6 years old. She was going to be 7 in February. She passed away that October before in 1959 from diphtheria. They didn't have the vaccines at that time in Belize. The vaccines did exist, and the children before her got the vaccine, but at the time she needed it, it did not exist. And, you know, in Belize, they ran out. And so she got sick and she passed away from a horrible respiratory disease. And that's why when I was afraid to take the vaccine at first, I started to think of her because they named me after her. And I'm like, I'm not going out like that. No, I'm not going out with some respiratory disease and some virus. To hell with that. I'm taking this vaccine. That was my clue that I needed to take it. I don't know what your clue is going to be, but that's my clue. Yeah, so just a lot of reminiscing tonight about the ancestors because December is a full month for us. The 19th would have been my grandmother's birthday. The 22nd would have been Aunt Grace's birthday. And then the 24th, Aunt Eileen passed away. That was a bad Christmas for us in 2004. So I'm just looking forward into going into this Christmas. I don't care what else is going on. The hurricane, sometimes I used to write this thing on mugs when I would paint things on mugs. I used to say this thing where it says, God, sometimes, let's calm the storm. Sometimes God will calm the storm, but sometimes he will let the storm rage and he will calm his child. And I feel that's how I feel today. I feel like the storm is raging around me right now in the family, but he's calmed me. And I'm really grateful for that. Diane, thank you for explaining what you meant when you said the thing, because I hate texting and sometimes comments because I don't hear your tone of voice when you're writing text or comments, and I hear it differently sometimes based on what I'm going through. And I had to address that because I know you've been with me for a little while, so don't worry, okay? We good, Diane. So anyways, you guys take care of yourself tonight. Let me go ahead and do my cake. Then I'm going to edit this and put this up hopefully by tomorrow morning. And then I'm going to have another Vlogmas for Christmas Eve, all right? So I'm going to have to try to put back all these things in place. I love you guys for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you for making it all the way through to the end. Please check out my primary channel, which can be found right here on YouTube. It's called The Bare Pantry Show. Also check out my website, barepantryshow.com, so that you can pick up a copy of one of my 3 books. Also remember, we are not buying this book that's being sold on Amazon. Why? Because my distributor is ripping me off. Thanks, guys.